For decades, the UK was one of the fastest growing major economies out there. But today, the country is pretty much paralyzed. So in this explainer, we're going to dig into the UK's really strange and kind of paradoxical economic situation. And believe it or not, it all starts with a single symbolic event that's happening right now. Okay, so get this. For the first time since the 1700s, a whole era is coming to a close. The UK has just agreed to hand over sovereignty of the British Indian Ocean Territory. This is its last really crucial overseas holding. Now, nobody lives there permanently, but the transfer is a hugely powerful symbol of something much, much bigger. For about 120 days next year, the sun will officially, literally, set on all British-held lands across the globe. And you know what? For a lot of people back in the UK, this symbolic end of an empire, well, it doesn't feel all that surprising. It feels fitting, like a perfect metaphor for the state of the nation today. Okay, so let's set this symbolism aside for a second and talk about the very real stuff. This feeling of decline, it's rooted in a modern crisis, a whole set of problems that have pretty much brought the country's economy to a grinding halt. And look at this list. I mean, wow. The wild thing here is that, yeah, other countries have some of these problems, but the UK seems to have collected them all, like some kind of terrible bingo card. You've got over-financialization, that's where finance just completely takes over the economy. You have everything concentrated in one single city, a housing crisis that's just crippling. Put it all together, and it's this paralyzing mess that really sets up our central mystery. How did it get this bad? And what, if anything, was holding it all together this whole time? But, and this is a huge but, here's the twist in the story. While the rest of the nation is struggling, one part of the UK isn't just surviving, it is absolutely thriving. So to really understand what's happening to the UK, you first have to understand the paradox of London. It's literally a tale of two different economies existing in the same country. On one hand, you have the broader UK, which is stagnating. And on the other, you have the city of London and its metro area, which is a global powerhouse. Its GDP per person is among the highest on Earth, beaten only by these tiny little countries with massive oil reserves or special tax laws. I mean, just to wrap your head around this, London has about the same number of people and the same GDP as the entire country of Switzerland. And here's the crazy part. When you count London's economy separately from the rest of the UK, it's actually growing faster than Switzerland's. It's truly an island of incredible prosperity. So that begs the question, right? Why? What is London's secret sauce? Well, the answer is in its unique financial model, a model that isn't really built on creating wealth, but on servicing it. This is the million-dollar question, or maybe I should say the billion-dollar question. If the rest of the country is struggling, what exactly are they doing inside London's financial district that's making so much money? This comparison to New York, it explains everything. See, New York is all about financing giant companies through exchanges like the NYSE and NASDAQ. It's where you go to raise capital, to build a fortune. London, on the other hand, specializes in providing services for people who already have a fortune. And let me tell you, they are unbelievably good at it. The numbers are just staggering. Take a look at this chart of UK exports. Financial services alone brought in $160 billion in 2023. Just think about that. They're making more money from financial services than from selling cars, heavy machinery, oil, and precious metals all put together. It's insane. So how do they pull this off? Well, they've basically built the ultimate one-stop shop for the world's richest people. We're talking 40% of all global currency trading, world-class wealth management, crazy luxury real estate, complex legal and tax structuring. It's all there. But the real secret ingredient, the thing that really makes it all work, let's just say very accommodating regulations. But all that success, well, it came with a huge price tag. And that price was paid by the rest of the UK. To keep London's engine running at full speed, major sacrifices had to be made, often by ignoring traditional industries and, frankly, the well-being of regular people. And this quote right here just nails one of the biggest sacrifices. The British pound has become the most financialized currency in the world. Basically, it's being used less to buy, bread and milk, and more to bet on global markets. And that makes it super volatile, which is terrible for any real business trying to sell actual stuff abroad. And you have to understand, none of this was an accident. It was a deliberate strategy. Deregulate the financial system. Go easy on investigations and enforcement. Let foreign money flood the housing market, driving prices through the roof. and accept that your national currency is going to act like a poker chip. All of these choices were made to make the UK the single most attractive playground for global billionaires. But there was a huge fatal flaw baked right into the plan. And this is where the story takes a truly ironic turn. After decades of bending over backwards to make the super rich happy, the very people this entire strategy was built around are now leaving in droves. Okay, look at these numbers. This is just wild. In 2023, the UK lost more high net worth individuals than China. China, a country with 13 times the population. That is a jaw-dropping reversal of fortunes. So why? Why are they all leaving? Well, take a look at this quote from one of the UK's richest residents as he packed his bags. He said the UK had gone to hell, just like his home country of Norway. Now hold on. Norway has the second highest standard of living on the planet. So what on earth could he mean by gone to hell? Well, it turns out gone to hell is billionaire speak for they're actually thinking about taxing me now. The reason for the exodus is really simple. These people were never loyal residents. They were customers. And now that the UK is trying to raise some revenue, they're just taking their business elsewhere, mostly to places like the UAE. Loyalty was never part of the deal. So what's the final verdict here? The UK built its entire modern economy on this race to the bottom, trying to be the cheapest, easiest place for the global elite to park their cash. But a strategy like that, well, it's literally called a race to the bottom for a reason. This analogy just says it all, doesn't it? The UK basically turned itself into a giant, high-end shopping mall filled with nothing but Gucci and Prada. It works great, and you make a ton of money, as long as the rich shoppers keep showing up. But when they decide to leave, what's left for everyone else? And look, you might be thinking, so what? Good riddance if they weren't paying taxes anyway. But it's not that simple. Their departure has real consequences. It means less money for the finance industry, the UK's one big economic engine to manage. It damages one of the only career paths that offered a real shot at upward mobility. And the short-term economic pain makes it almost politically impossible to switch gears to a healthier, more balanced model for the long run. And all of this really leaves us with one big nagging question. The UK's whole story is a massive cautionary tale for any country that bets its entire future on attracting this kind of super mobile global money with low taxes and light rules. It forces you to ask, what happens when the race to the bottom finally gets there?